Welcome to a 1v1 Black Forest game I played over the weekend. Those of you who have seen games of my opponent might have an idea of how this game will play out. You can see from the description, it's a Black Forest 1v1, Civs or Vikings, no pause in game, that won't be important, but I asked for multi-queue, and here we go. We're jumping right into the game. So this is Black Forest with Explored, and the first thing I do is go ahead and research Loom. And I'll try to explain my reasoning behind that real quick before my villagers actually get to where they need to be right at the beginning of the game. And this villager blocking my scout was really triggering me, so I moved him out of the way just as my scout was going to pass the other direction, but whatever, we'll get by that. So for those of you who started playing Age of Empires 2 before there were strategy guides and YouTube videos, or YouTube at all for that matter, all we had was the manual and the tech tree pamphlet the game came with. So my go-to strategy was to play the Byzantines against the easy AI, stonewall just about, half the map maybe, and then build a tower behind every single tile of wall I had built, and then just watch and enjoy as the enemy just threw units against my walls. And that's how I played. That way I could just move out whenever I was ready, once I had the resources in late game. And of course I'd use cheats and everything. So Fatslob has a somewhat similar playstyle, except it's a bit easier to pull off in a competitive game. You don't have to use cheat codes. He plays with Vikings on Black Forest, where you have these small choke points that you can see we're fighting over right now. And I'm doing not a great job at microing, so maybe he does think I'm a noob. But I am rated lower than him in this game, as I pull off the wrong villager and then go back to attack the wrong villager as well. So it doesn't look like I'm going to win this fight. But I do have, somewhat of a quick wall in this choke point to prevent him from getting reinforcements here. So, I'm not going to give up. I'm trying to do, some pro Viper tricks where I'll wall my villager in, but that's not going to happen. So my main goal right now is to control this choke point closer to his side so that he can't wall as easily behind it. Because if Fatslob's known for anything, he's known for walling. So he plays these Viking maps on Black Forest, or Viking mirror matchups on Black Forest. And the reason Vikings is played is because they only get Onager, and if you play before the expansions come out, the Vikings do not get Siege Onager, and Onagers can't cut through trees. Very important, because what Fatslob wants to do is continually wall behind further and further to prevent his enemy from getting to his base and forcing an early engagement before Fatslob is well and ready. So he almost walled me in. Key there was almost. I still have most of the choke point to myself. I'm going to finish this house with one villager and kill his villager with the other one. But I don't just finish the house. I build a new house in its place with my villager on his side. Yes, I have a sneak villager in his base. And I thought I was so clever putting the house back on the same foundation. And I've killed his villager now. And I'm going to go ahead and start to destroy his walls as well. So now the game kind of switches focus. Now it's really Black Forest booming, really concentrating on your economy, because as far as he knows, his base is safe. That house is still there. I just went and finished it, and there's nothing for him to really worry about. I'm going to send my villager to the corner, however, and I'll have a sneak in his base. And good thing for me, I got Loom. That way I could fight his villagers and I can fight off this wolf. And I'm just destroying some of the palisade walls just to make sure he doesn't have any vision. So I tried to... no! Yeah, there you go.
Oh my god. Titanicville.
I try to put the palisade and then delete it before... my villager gets too close to build it, and that way it hides the body. And yeah, I think that's the only part of my voice from the original recording that you hear in this game. I did not stream the game on Twitch because I was having internet issues, but I knew this was going to be a good game, and I went ahead and recorded it. So yeah, my sneak villager is no more. And then I just go back to my economy in shame. And at this point, I went back and looked at the recording, and I can tell you that at this point, Fat Slob is ahead by 2 villagers. So my villagers just continue destroying the palisades foundations, make sure he has no vision. He can't see when my army's coming forward. Because a lot of people, they've seen T90's videos about Fat Slob when I think T90 was the first streamer to talk about Fat Slob, kind of introduced him to the rest of the community, and his very specific playstyle. And a lot of people have played him since, and they really try to pressure him early in Feudal Age and such. But he just takes the opportunity to wall behind him, especially if he has most of the choke point to wall with. You know, that's a very small area he has to wall, and he can cover a lot of ground that your units would have to fight through to get to his units. So it's a very safe playstyle for him. But because I really went aggressive at the beginning, I have that opportunity. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I can do the same thing again. I can destroy the house I built. As long as he hasn't walled behind it, and it doesn't look like he has, I can go ahead and have another sneak villager. And, you know, if I were Fat Slob, I definitely would have walled behind my opponent's walls, just to make sure he can't delete them and get through. And I can see there's no wall tile there, and I'm just ecstatic at this point. You won't hear it in my voice because I don't think I speak for the rest of the game, but, you know, I was so stoked that I could get another villager in there, and I could go back to that same corner, finish off that wolf. Actually, that wolf's already dead. Don't have to finish off the palisade or anything. I can go delete it now. And it didn't even get built because I deleted my villager so quickly. All there is just that little skeleton, and I was confident that Fat Slob would not notice it. You know, it's just so innocuous, out of the way. It's not something you're looking for in most games. So yeah, now I'm like, alright, what am I going to do? What are Vikings good at? What kind of sneak can they pull off?
Alright, build's looking pretty good. And I got my sneak bill.
I'm not sure what I said there. Something about my build looking good, and then... yeah, I'm not sure. But you can see I'm still behind in score by somewhat. I think I'm still 2 villagers behind.
He's going for deer. I should go for deer. Where are my deer? I don't have trapped. Great.
And so yeah, I see the scores. I'm behind, and I'm thinking, all right, what's the Viking composition? What can I go for? Also, I'll let you know ahead of time that I have very little Black Forest experience.
I'm missing sheep. No, I guess not.
And due to that limited Black Forest experience, I'm pretty bad at fast castle build orders. Also, I had 3 villagers, or I lost 4 villagers at the beginning, so whatever build order I might have gone for kind of completely went out the window. So I'm thinking, what's the Viking composition? And I know Fat Slob usually goes for Siege Ram, Siege Onager to defeat his opponent's Siege Rams, taking down his walls, Arbalists, and Berserkers. And I'm thinking, alright, so for a raid, probably the best thing would be maybe not Arbalest, because I don't think I'm going to wait until Imperial Age when he has the resources or might have started building an army. I'm going to do this in Castle Age, so I'm going to go for crossbowmen. And I'll be able to range, farms, resources, whatever, without losing my units. Because right now the KD is, for me, is 4 to 5. You know, I've lost 1 extra because of the wolf. Or, no, it wasn't even because of the wolf, it was just because of me. I don't know if that counts towards my KD. And, let me know what you guys think of my gold mining camp right here. I was kind of, I wasn't sure where to put it. I've never had a gold spot like this. And I figured if I put it any further away, that last tile is just going to be way too far from the mining camp. I guess I could have put it on the right side, and that would have worked alright. But at this point now, it's just maximizing the resources you have available to you, making sure you're not floating resources, and doing a good job managing what economic technologies you get now. And I don't think, yeah, Fat Slob hasn't rewalled behind my house yet. We're both on the way to Feudal Age at this point at 25 pop, though Fat Slob is a bit ahead of me. And so, yeah, I did look back at the recording afterwards just to see how I did. And you know, I'm doing all right here. My economy's looking pretty good, and I'm not sure what I need for the sneak. I know I'm gonna need a barracks. I'm gonna need an archery range, and I might as well use this villager who's not doing much. And here I'm wondering, okay, do I want to put the barracks in a spot where some units might be trapped behind? Am I going to use any units from the barracks? Probably not. So I could probably have put it all the way back there in the corner. And I have to tell you now, you know, maybe a little bit of foreshadowing. I don't think I've ever pulled off a successful sneak before. Maybe I've pulled it off once on Black Forest, but most people will either find your buildings just by random luck, or the fight will start before your sneak really pays off, if you know what I mean. And then other times my build order's just been so poor that I wasn't able to have a competitive time. Because you do still need to have a competitive time in which your units come out. You have to have your units come out at the right moment to have the biggest impact. So I think those times would probably be when your opponent doesn't have or has exhausted their resources or used them all up at once. So that would be something like clicking up to Castle Age, clicking up to Imperial Age, investing in a castle so they can't tower and defend the resources, something like that. So at this point, Black Forest, you're probably not going to be mining stone unless you're Fat Slob and you know you want a bunch of walls. And I'm looking at the mini-map right now, and I don't think... Yeah, I do see some blue around my house in the choke point. So it seems like Fat Slob has started walling up. But otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Just getting the resources to click up to Castle Age, making sure I have the 2 buildings in which to do so. And I have my archery range, my blacksmith. And then I'll just make sure to keep building houses and probably build another archery range and start getting my crossbowmen out. Not too much to talk about at this point. But now I have the score lead, and I'm not sure what exactly gave it to me. Because I know military does give you a decent bump to your score, but I haven't actually created any military units yet. And I know Fat Slob will have had to create 2 buildings as well, feudal buildings, to click up to Castle Age. And I'm confident he has a decent Castle Age time, considering how often he plays this. Well, I think it's the only thing he plays. So I don't think an archery range gives you more score than, say, a market. But our scores are, I guess they're still pretty similar. I dropped in score there for a second. I'm not sure. I think I was at 2,000 and then dropped. I think I invested some resources into technologies, and that's why it dropped, because I hadn't actually received those technologies yet. So I guess my score is jumping up a bit because I am researching more technologies. And one mistake, Fat Slob, if you're watching this, I would advise you to get, what was it, double bid axe earlier. I think he only got double bid axe once he clicked up to Castle Age. He also did not go for any gold. He used the market to collect gold to go up to Castle Age. That's something I would also recommend against. Oh, weld my house in. Is he safe? And now I'm getting excited. I see the walls, but I know they're not going to do anything. And I'm up to Castle Age, so now it's just about making sure I have the economy in case my sneak fails. And then going for town centers first before I get my upgrades. Really start building a town center because they can take a while. And then I'm temporarily stopping my production of military. But now my score is looking pretty good, you know? I was up to Castle Age, I think. No, I was still up a little bit behind Fat Slob. But at this point, I think he forgot to queue villagers. And so I'm taking a little bit of a villager lead, and well, I won't spoil it. He made some questionable choices at this point in time, I guess is what I'll say. But man, I'm excited for what's going to come next. He did get stone mining before he got Bowsaw, which, you know, I don't think I'd ever recommend. It's very rare that I'll get stone mining in a game. It's only really if I really need that castle up, I think. And I'm floating a lot of resources, a lot of food and wood, and I've already gotten all the technologies I would have gotten first before then. So queuing up more archers and then building a house. Did I go for third archery range? I must have, yeah. That looks like what I'm going for. Third archery range and then some more houses. Which makes sense because, you know, I want to hit that period of time which will make the most sense, have the biggest impacts with my military units. But when you're making this many villagers and military units, you're probably going to need 2 villagers dedicated to building houses. Unless you're Spanish and you're building that quickly. But of course we're not Spanish. We are Vikings. And man, I can't wait for the crossbowmen to come out. Oh, I haven't even clicked the crossbow upgrade. Alright, I have to wait for the crossbow upgrade. And what do I have? About like 10 so far? And I go for the gold shaft mining before I even get the stone mining, because you know, you want to make sure you can click up to imp. And I haven't really dedicated that many villagers to gold at this point. Mainly just food and wood, making sure I have the buildings and then the wood to create archers. Because, you know, archers are pretty wood intensive. And now that I have so many on wood, I can really invest in more farms and make sure I have the eco to take me up to Castle Age should my advancement fail. And I haven't really scouted Fat Sob's base either. I'm not sure what I'm gonna find. I know that he's taken deer, and I roughly know where his town center is located because of where the dead animals are. And I'm obviously assuming that he collected them under his town center because Fat Sob is a 1700 player. It might just be the elo from playing Black Forest Vikings Mirror, but you know, winning that many matches, I'll let you know that he did beat Viper. There might have been a disconnect at some point, but I'm gonna still consider that a win. So you know, stakes are on the line for me. You could say by the I'm not sure what property that is.
Beautiful.
If I beat Fat Slob, then I'll be better than Viper.
There he is, Siege Workshop.
And
No, was he expecting this?
yeah, that was the first thought I had. Siege Workshop and Castle. And I'm thinking, what Black Forest player in their right mind would have Siege Workshop and Castle ready? But I have ballistics, and I see that he left his villagers on stone. I don't know if that's just to give him a warning ahead of time, but what am I gonna find? I have one more kill, so we're finally even in KD. I do see I have a score lead, but that might just be because of military, you know? It might just be because I've invested so much in military. And here I'm in desperate need of more farms, so don't have to be microing my units the whole time. And this was really unfortunate. I couldn't get my town center up in his base because he had a monk coming out for the relic. And he noticed it. And you know, there's not much my villager can do. If I had a few more archers queued up, I could have taken him out. But at this point, I just need to click up to the Imperial Age. And now I get ballistics. Okay, I didn't have ballistics before. And that's crucial to get villagers as they're running back to the town center. Go build, yeah, another mill. Look at me, trying to be all professional with my mill placement. I mean, why bother looking at my archers when I know they're just denying resources? And he just leaves his villagers there, just asking, please Colin, take my villager's life. I don't need the pop space for them. But he's not up to imp. And man, this was just so much fun for me, but I do kind of feel bad because this wasn't his playstyle. He wasn't expecting it, and I am careless with my crossbowmen here. I think I've lost about 3 so far, one or 2 to the castle, or 1 or 2 to the town center. But look at this. He has all of these villagers on woodlines just waiting for me. And I can just sit back there on stand ground and I don't have to do anything. I can just pay attention to my economy, and he has to worry about all his villagers going down, and whether or not his monk can get a relic. Oh, he can't even get back to the monastery. That's just a bit cruel, right? I was trying to out micro the town center, but obviously that didn't work. That 3 archers lost for, I guess, 4 villagers. At this point in the game, I don't think that's worth it. But, you know, I'm having fun, and the score gap is just growing and growing and growing. And what really surprised me at this point is that Fat Slob was not on his main gold. There's no mining camp around his main gold whatsoever. And so I just left a couple because I assumed he was going to go there sooner or later. But yeah, he never was. I'm not sure what that was about. And I'm just about at the resource amount where I can click up to the Imperial Age. There we go. I have the resources for it, and I don't have the buildings. I feel like that happens far too often to me. Don't have the I have the resources, but I don't have the buildings. And now I see the berserkers, and I'm like, all right, so hopefully my economy is better. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty confident, considering how many villagers have gone down, that my economy is better. But he does have berserkers, and I don't think my crossbowmen are going to be able to fight them. So at this point, I have 2 choices. I can go try to hide my crossbowmen in his base somewhere, just to make sure his berserkers stay at home. But it was also an odd choice for him to have gone with his berserkers to go clean up my buildings before taking out my crossbowmen. Because, you know, berserkers are just going to run right up to the crossbowmen, no problem whatsoever. It's going to be very difficult for me to out-micro them. But I don't take the choice of running away. I just stay, pick up a few more villagers, create more idle time. And yeah, I was very happy with that decision. Now I'm on my way to Imperial Age. Need to start making some siege rams, a little bit of defense just in case he tries to counterattack in the form of a castle. But if I can get siege ram out, he probably won't be able to get onager. Probably won't be able to click up to Imperial Age too soon. And you can see now when I get stone mining, once I really am floating a ton of resources and just getting guard tower for the heck of it. I don't think I even had a tower at that point. I'm not entirely sure why I got guard tower. I think I was thinking of towering the choke point because the castle would have been too big there, and I just had so much stone that, you know, might as well do something with it. Oh, double click my vills there. Could have been a disaster. And so now, I'm sure most of you figure the game just about over, but he has cleaned up my army now. So I'll quickly lose sight. I'm trying to just make the most out of my archers before they all die. Let's try to pick off one last villager. But, you know, Jim was able to survive. Jim the Viking made it out successfully. And now I start queuing up berserkers of my own to fight off his berserkers and some create some siege ram. Get my resource upgrades. You know, I'm on easy street right now. You know what I mean? 2,000 score ahead. Got a castle protecting me. Capture ram on the way. I don't have any military units, but I still have my house to protect me. Actually, I deleted my house. I have a forward house to warn me of anything coming, and then I have a castle to protect me. So even if his berserkers got in, I think I'd be okay, but I don't want to give too much away yet. But I will tell you, at this point, at the end of my archer warfare, my crossbow warfare, before his berserkers cleaned up and before I hit Imperial Age, the KD went from, remember, it was 4 kills, 5 deaths for me because of, you know, let's not talk about it. And then by the end of that, that was 47 to 12. So I killed 43 villagers with this crossbowman. Talk about a return on investment. I don't think I will ever have a sneak that's that successful ever again. So a few more stats for you. 43 villagers, and I see him walling a bit more, and I'm like, alright, classic fat slob. Unfortunately, I have siege ram on the way. But a few more statistics first for you. So a KD of 47 to 12, 43 villager deaths. I now have 3 times the villager count and twice his population number. And I'm not, I mean, I don't mean to brag. It's just I was kind of surprised he hadn't resigned yet. I don't want to. I know this is Fat Slob's thing, so I don't want to disrespect him. But I don't know. I was just. It seemed like a challenge to me, and I was just very happy with the way things turned out. But you know, there's still the possibility that Fat Slob can hold out, because this is what he's known for. This is what T90 warns people of when they think, oh, I can take Fat Slob on. He can just keep walling behind, and as long as he has onagers and mangonels to destroy the rams, there's not too much Vikings can do to fend off or push through. I could try to use trebuchets, but that'll take a while to go through fortified wall, especially when they're on the hill and my trebuchets are down in this valley. So I decided to bring my trebuchets a little bit closer first. And now I'm making the switch into berserks. I already have my elite berserks. Now getting conscription, so I can just spam out siege rams faster than he can destroy them. And building another castle because I have the resources for it. And now Fat Slob's up to Imperial Age. But, I mean, it's going to be hard. He does have fortified wall, so that can help him a little bit. And I'm going to try to pick off his villager with trebuchets, but remember, I'm not Britons or anything like that, Vikings. I don't get Warwolf, so, you know, a tiny little villager might be able to escape a 90 kilogram projectile going a little bit less than 300 kilometers. Or, did I say kilometers? 300 meters. And he does have the berserks, which I'm trying to target. I don't think an attack round's gonna work. But the trebuchets do, in fact, have a purpose, even if they look like they're just, you know, throwing rocks in the water at this point. They're there to pick off any onagers. So I gotta say, I think I was way too prepared for this game. I mean, I just kind of knew everything Fat Slob was gonna do, which kind of ruined some of the aspect of it. It didn't really require critical thinking, on the spot at least, which is, you know, a big difficulty for a lot of players when they're playing Age of Empires. It's kind of knowing what to do at the right time while doing everything else that you already know how to do and trying to execute it. But at this point, I have Arbalest, I have Siege Ram, his Mangonels are done, doesn't have Onager yet, and there's a big cut in his wall. And this is where Fat Slob decides to resign. And that's a GG. Now I have a look at his map, and I still think he didn't take his main gold, which really surprised me there. I almost lost there with the wolf, but I was able to push back and get back in there. If you want to catch these games live, you can check out my Twitch channel. Link for that is in the description. I stream each Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 2 a.m. Saturday GMT. I'll see you then.